Good evening, guys. I'm Pranay from Utsav. Today, we are bringing you another amazing session on the importance of yoga in our life. Whether we say yoga or meditation or some spiritual practices, these things are not being carried for 1 or 2 decades or centuries, but since the dawn of civilization. The science of yoga has its origin thousands of years ago, long before the first religion or belief system were born. It's being practiced for over 5,000 years and has proved itself providing both material and spiritual uplift of humanity. We have Jugal with us here. Jugal is known for his yoga teaching and also sharing his learning through his page Yoga Talks. It's great to have you here, Jugal.
Thank you so much, Pranay, for having me here. I am honored and privileged to be here. At the same time, I'm very humbled. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure. Uh, Tell me about your journey. What made you choose to be a yoga teacher? How did you actually came across this teaching? Yoga is not something that's been carried for 1 or 2 or 3 decades. It's been in our culture for a long time.
Hmm.
What made you practice it? And also, you understood it from depth, so you also you know that okay, it's very important that other also should know the importance of it and how it can benefit us. So, what made you
Hmm.
do that?
Okay. So I was connected to a spiritual organization since 2006, and I've been studying the Bhagavad Gita for over a decade now, and also teaching the youth the Bhagavad Gita. So I was always very much in conversant with the philosophy of yoga, and eventually I had this desire to make a career out of something from the Vedic sciences like astrology, yoga, etc. Okay, so I was wondering which field should I choose. So one day, one of my friends told me to meet his yoga teacher, yoga guru, in Mumbai. I stay in Mumbai, so I said, okay, I'll meet him. But what's so great about him? And he told me something about it, which I can't share it here. But I was very fascinated hearing that. So I said that I would really like to meet him. So I went to him and I learned from him. And till then, I had this uh, notion that yoga is all about health, only health, physical exercise. It's all about physical exercise. But after meeting him, I understood that it's much more than that. It's a spiritual practice. And after that, I read his book, and I was very much amazed. And I thought that this is the field I should choose. So I learned from him. At the same time, I think I began in 2017. In 2018, I did my yoga teachers training course from Yog Vidya Gurukul Nasik,
Okay.
and from then I'm teaching yoga in South Mumbai. Yes.
Yeah. As it's great to have people like you. Uh, since you know today's title is Yoga Key to Happiness, so
Yeah.
the view of happiness is different for every individual. So I really want
Right.
to know how do you see what is happiness for you?
Okay. So happiness. First, I would like to explain this word happiness with an example. Okay. So Pranay, if I ask you this question, that what is your favorite sweet? What will you tell me?
So I'm from Bengal, so I don't want to say
Yeah.
Rasgulla.
Okay, Rasgulla.
Yeah.
Wow. I also like that. Okay. So if I offer you your favorite Rasgulla, and you are also very hungry, will you eat it? Yes or no? You will.
So yeah, obviously.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. After you finish the first Rasgulla, I give you another one. Will you eat it? Yes or no?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
The third one, fourth,
yeah.
fifth, sixth. How many can you eat?
Maybe.
How many can you? How many can you eat? There is a
It
limit,
depends. Yeah, there is a limit.
right? There is a
Yeah.
limit to it. After a time, after a while, you will feel like you don't want to eat it anymore. To such an extent that you might feel like puking, right?
Yeah.
So the Rasgulla that was giving you happiness, the so-called happiness that it was giving you in the initial stages, when I get offered you the first, second, third, fourth, maybe, that happiness is suddenly, that happiness suddenly disappears in the later rasagullas that I give you. So where did this happiness go? The rasgulla is the same.
Hmm.
Your palate is the same. Nothing changed. So what is it that changed, and what is it that caused this ceasing of happiness? So it is uh, the mind. It is the mind. So happiness, I would like to define it like this: that happiness is a state of absorption of the mind. I would repeat, happiness is a state of absorption of the mind. Till the time the mind is absorbed in something, it we feel we are happy, we love it. Okay, and once the mind loses the absorption, we feel that we are not happy. Okay. um, Recently, actually, I was sitting in a discourse, and a monk was giving a talk about meditation. So he said a shairi, a small shairi, a two line, and he said about mind that अगर मन खुश है तो बूंद भी बरसात है, अगर मन खुश है तो बूंद भी बरसात है, पर अगर मन उदास है तो समुंदर की भी क्या औकात है. It basically means that if the mind is happy, even we can be happy with, we can be satisfied in a little. But if the mind is dissatisfied, even a lot will seem like nothing.
Yeah.
So it is about the mind's absorption. Till the mind is absorbed, till something is new, the mind finds it fascinating and it absorbs in it. Okay, so this absorption is what we call as happiness. The more you are absorbed doing something, the more you feel you are happy. Okay, and in this world, while we are living in this world, there are many things that don't allow us to be absorbed, like physical tensions, mental tensions. All these things don't allow us to be absorbed. Here is where yoga comes into picture, and yoga removes all these physical and mental tensions and enhances our absorption. And for the matter of fact, the last stage of yoga, samadhi is nothing but complete absorption. Okay, so that's why yoga is the key to happiness.
Yeah. That's a great way you put. It was really lovely the way you said. I never thought that way before. Honestly, I'm gonna say. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, I have another question for you. Is
Hmm.
you know there are so many different posture in yoga, like physical form of yoga. There are so many
Hmm.
postures, and I'm sure there are reason behind those posture, right? And there is
Yes.
maybe some scientific explanation why we do some posture and what's the benefit of that. So can you tell me
Yeah.
why? And
Yes, definitely. See, the benefits and importance of yoga postures are unlimited, and the internet is filled with it. I personally won't go into all those details. I'll give you an understanding that I have of the postures. Okay.
okay.
So, mm, I would say that this universe, our universe, it works in a perfect rhythm.
Hmm.
Everything in this universe has a rhythm. There is a
Hmm.
perfect repetition, right? A repetitive cycle. There is a perfect rhythm. जिसको हम हिंदी में लय बोलते हैं, लय. Okay, there is a
Okay.
rhythm. And just like the sun, the rising and setting of the sun and the moon, there is repetition. We know every day in the morning the sun will rise and evening it will set. There is a repetition, there is a rhythm, there is a repetition in the seasons, right?
Yeah.
So everything in the universe has a rhythm. So rhythm or repetition is the natural state of the universe. Okay.
Hmm.
And whatever is natural is healthy. Whatever is unnatural is unhealthy. Right. So when I say that rhythm or repetition is natural and healthy, we can also say that chaos, abruptness, irregularity is not natural. It is unhealthy. Okay.
Okay.
So similarly, our body is also a mini universe. It is called that yatha brahmande tatha pinde. Whatever is there in the universe is also inside our body. Okay. So when we say that the universe, the natural state of the universe is rhythm, the natural state of our bodies is also rhythm, is also repetition. Okay, there is a perfect rhythm working inside us. But due to living a chaotic life, irregular life, we have made our bodies irregular, unrhythmic. Okay,
Mm.
so to get back to its natural state, to get back to health, we need to bring a rhythm or repetition in our lives, and we can begin it with by giving a rhythm to the movements of our body. Okay, so
Okay.
yogasanas, the yoga postures are nothing but giving this rhythm to the movements of our body. And through that movements, through those repetitive rhythmic movements, we come back to our natural state and we come back to health. This is my understanding of the yoga postures.
Okay. Okay. That's a very interesting thing. I have one question. Like, say, uh, you talked about different postures and all. So, yoga and meditations, are these two things same? We both know that it's being told that you should always meditate at least once, right? Uh,
Yeah.
w- and I want to ask you, is these two things same? Is yoga and meditation are those same, and are there any difference? And what's the relation in between those two?
Hmm. Hmm. See, before we delve into yoga and meditation, I would like to talk about the meaning of yoga. Okay, then things will get
Okay.
clearer. Yoga comes from the word yuj, Sanskrit word yuj, which means to connect, to unite. Okay, so uh, connect to what? Unite with what? So the whole goal of yoga is to unite with our own selves first and with the Supreme or God or the Supreme Consciousness, whatever we call, to unite with Him. Okay, that is yoga. Okay, first is to unite with our own selves. And what is our own self? Who is our own selves? It is the spirit soul. Patanjali Rishi, he says tada drashtuhu swarupe avasthanam. One establishes as the seer. Right now we think we are these bodies, but we are not these bodies. We are the spirit soul living inside the body, as Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so when we attain this goal, then we can call that this is yoga. Okay, and to attain this goal, one of the means is meditation. Okay,
Okay.
meditation is one of the means. Patanjali has given 8 limbs of yoga called Ashtanga yoga. Okay,
Okay.
and the final stage is called samadhi. It's called samadhi. And samadhi means nothing but self realization, knowing or realizing one's true self, that I am the Atma, I am not this body. Okay, so it begins with yam, niyam, asan, pranayam, pratyahar. These are bahirang yoga, outward yoga, and then dharana, dhyan, and samadhi. These are internal yoga. So dharana, and dhyan. These are basically what we call as meditation.
Okay.
Okay, what we are doing is it's like the commentators to the Patanjali Yoga Sutra, they give this example that it's like there is a lake, and we are standing and looking in the water of the lake. We are trying to see our own reflection, but because there are lots of ripples, we are not able to see ourselves clearly. Okay, so what we have to do if we want to see ourselves clearly, we should wait for the lake, the water to get still. Until it gets still, it's not possible to see ourselves clearly. Okay, so by meditation, we are trying to achieve this stillness through which we can see our own selves in the stage of samadhi. So that is the connection between yoga and meditation or dhyan.
Okay. I have one question for you. The question is that, we are living in a world with so much chaos. We bears, every day you wake up, wake up in the morning, I have to go to college or go for work and all. So
hmm,
how do you, like, in so much chaos, even if a person is thinking about, okay, I want to meditate, I want to do some yoga, and it's very
hmm,
important to have a calm mind, right? But it's
hmm,
very
hmm.
tough. That I need to
Yes.
catch a train by this time. I have to go
Yeah.
there by then, and otherwise, I won't be allowed to enter my office or this place or that. And so much of
Yes.
chaos. How do you actually have create that mind, create that state of mind?
Okay.
Otherwise, you
Create
gonna
that
be
state.
thinking, yeah, yeah, you go on.
Okay. Okay. See, I can understand that we have such chaotic lives, and it's difficult to keep that calm in these times, especially in these times of pandemic. Okay. Uh, but it's like we can begin at least somewhere, even if we add a one small yogic practice to our daily lives. It's like every day we take a bath, we clean ourselves, we eat food, we take time out for all these things. So similarly, if we can add a little bit, a small yoga practice, and practice it daily, then it can have a wonderful effect on our lives. Okay, the calm that you are asking for, that calm that you are demanding in these chaotic times, definitely, by this, even a small yoga practice, even a little, even a 5 minute of yoga practice, if done daily for a long period of time, it can have a wonderful effect in our lives. It's like if you begin working out initially, we may feel that there's no progress that we are able to see, but just by continuing it, just by if we keep on doing it, gradually we can see the difference. So it's like that. You have to begin somewhere and start a small practice of yoga.
Okay. uh, is there any particular time of the day when, if you practice this particular yoga, or when if you meditate, then you will get the best result, you are going to get the better out of it?
uh, yes, definitely. See, um, there is a thing called uh, the transition period. The transition period. Okay, I'll explain what it is. uh, the universe gives us particular times in the day where it's very easy to uplift our consciousness or make advancement in our lives, uh, spiritually I'm talking about. And these
Okay.
periods are called the conjunction between the day and night, or night or day, the
Okay.
dawn and the dusk. Okay, in the morning you might have heard about the time called Brahma Muhurta. Okay, it
Yeah.
is before sunrise. It is not night, it is not day, it is neither night neither day, it is the middle period, it is the transition period. So these transition periods are universe given opportunities for us to make advancement, to uplift ourselves. Any kind of yoga practices, be any sadhana, if we practice it in these period, either in the morning, the dawn, or the dusk, when it is neither day neither night, okay, the evening time, in these two periods, if we practice our yoga practices, then this is the most beneficial time to practice. Having said that, any time of the day, if we are inclined towards practicing yoga, it is fine until it's empty stomach. At the same time, this thing I would like to stress upon, uh, the time of yoga and the place of yoga. This is very important. If you are practicing, say, eh, mm, at 10 in the morning, then try to practice at 10 a.m. every day without fail, even if there is an earthquake, and at the same place that you are practicing it, then it has a very powerful effect. This thing, people don't keep in mind, and they don't practice it that way. Yeah.
Okay. Acha, if a person who is trying to, start his meditation journey or yoga journey, what would be
Hmm.
the very first, advice, or, any kind of practice, particular meditation that you would actually say them, you should do this thing. That would be actually be easier for you to connect. instead of going for a tough yoga, what would be?
Yeah, yeah. See, mm, to generalize and right now say that this practice everyone can begin with would be faulty, because everyone is not on the same level, even if they are a neophyte or a beginner in the practice of yoga. Okay, so there are three modes of nature, three gunas: sattva, rajas, and tamas. Right? Sattva, rajas, and tamas. Sattva is the topmost, and rajas is the intermediate, and the lowest is tamas. Okay, so a beginner of yoga may either be in sattva, either be on rajas, either be in tamas. Right?
Okay.
One practice for all. That's actually a wrong thing. It's not possible. If someone is depressed, now you might have heard of relaxation practices like yoga nidra. You just have to relax, like visualize, and people tell you to relax your body parts. This sounds very simple. You just have to lie down and people say relax. But people who have depression, they can't do it. The depression increases by this practice. So this practice sounds very simple and easy, but it's not beneficial for everyone. Okay, so first, one has to assess at what stage one is. If one is in the tamasic stage, the depressed people, they are in the tamasic stage. For them, relaxation, calming exercises, it won't work. So they have to begin with an agitative practice. They have to agitate themselves. They have to come. They can't go directly from tamas to sattva. Okay, so first they have to come from tamas to rajas. Rajas is passion. So first they have to begin with agitative practices. They have to agitate themselves. They have to, it's like warming up themselves. And for them, I can say that they can begin with Surya Namaskar or Surya Upasana, worship of the Surya. Okay, the Pingala Nadi. We have sun and moon both in our bodies. Okay, so the Pingala Nadi is connected with the sun. The sun is connected with activity. So those people who are depressed, who are not able to calm themselves down, they can begin by stimulating the Pingala Nadi, by activating the sun principle in their bodies, in their minds. So they can begin with a physical practice like Surya Namaskar, and then go from there to Sattva. From there they can go to relaxation practice and other things. So this is what I feel.
Yeah, that's nice to hear. And okay, yoga, these things is being carried for a long time, as I said before. So
Hmm.
what's the difference between the yoga that's been practiced traditionally from the ancient and what's being practiced now, modern yoga? What's the difference between those?
Okay. So like I said, that the word yoga itself means that connecting with the self or the supreme, and even that is the
Yeah.
goal of yoga, to either connect with yourself or to the supreme. So traditionally, this was the goal through which this was the goal which people kept in mind. The yogis kept in mind while while they practiced yoga. But today, when we talk about yoga, uh, it is um, it is all about um, health. Health is what yoga is connected to, and we people don't look beyond that. So this is the difference between the traditional practice and the modern practice. Having said that, even the modern practice has degraded so much that now yoga, especially in the West, they have created various kinds of yogas which are actually shouldn't be called as yoga. Like there is a beer yoga, you know, there's a beer
Beer
yoga.
yoga. No,
You
I
drink
haven't
beer.
heard of it before. No,
Yeah,
I don't.
you drink beer and you practice asanas. Then there is a dog yoga. You take your dog along, and both of you practice yoga. Then there is a goat yoga. While you're lying down doing an asana, a goat will stand on you. It's actually a fact. I'm not lying. Okay. And it's not that just the West is practicing. The beer yoga has entered India also. So yeah, the practice of yoga is degraded in the modern times. Traditionally, it was something completely different.
Okay, okay. I haven't heard of
Hmm.
those things before. It's the first time I'm hearing from
Yes.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Acha, I have seen you on Instagram before. we catch up. I seen you on Insta, and I have seen that you wrote, "I'm not a yogi. I'm a yoga teacher." So I just
Yeah,
that's why I'm asking you, what is yogi, and what
uh,
you told about yoga, but what is yogi particularly?
yeah. Um, nice question, actually. Uh, See, uh, like I said, the goal of yoga is to find one's own self or the supreme. Okay. Um, so a yogi is a person who has already attained that state. Only that person can be called a yogi. If I'm practicing asanas, if I'm practicing pranayam, if I'm practicing some meditation, I don't have the right or eligibility to call myself a yogi. It is a very elevated state.
It's mean you
Okay.
have already traveled the 8 stages.
Yes, yes, yes. Only that person can be one who has connected with oneself already, one who has reached that stage. Only that person can be called a yogi. Okay.
Oh,
It's like a difference between a compounder and a doctor. Are you able to hear me?
yeah, yeah.
Are you
I'm
able to
able
hear
to
me?
hear you. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you can say a yogi is like a doctor, and a compounder is like a person like me who is not a yogi, like is a yoga teacher, but somewhere he knows all the techniques and things and stuff. Okay. So
Okay.
yeah, I'm a compounder at best.
I got it. Got it. Okay. Moving forward. We have some questions, I think, from the comment section too. Somebody asked us that if someone want to choose yoga as career, what would be the process, Prabhuji?
Um, to choose yoga as a career, I think the first thing needed is that one should have a deep interest in the field of yoga, in the practice of yoga. Because unless one has that interest, one won't be able to sustain in this field. Okay.
Okay.
Because if we are looking for monetary benefits, then it's not too great, and maybe it takes a little bit of time. So you need that patience to continue in this field, and the patience can be one can have that patience only if one has that inclination and enthusiasm towards yoga. Okay, so that's the first thing that one should have. So you should ask yourself that do you have that enthusiasm for yoga? And secondly, definitely, if in India or even outside, if you want to choose yoga as a career, you have to have a certificate, or you should have a training from a reputed yoga school. Okay, so that's the basic requirement for having a career in yoga. Yes.
Okay, there's another question. We got some questions actually today. So there is Vedant. He's asking, how do I transition from doing yoga for fitness to doing it for spiritual growth and enlightenment?
Okay. Vedant, the good thing is that uh, there is no difference in practicing yoga for fitness or for spirituality. It's the same thing. Okay, it's the same thing. It's like a journey where if you begin, these are the health is the like the side benefits. Like there are side effects, bad reactions. Yoga has good effects. Okay, so health
Okay,
is like a byproduct of yoga. If you just continue doing it with the spiritual goal in mind, eventually one day you may reach even there. Okay, so keep doing whatever you are doing, and that is fine.
okay, okay. So okay, moving forward, Nan. Acha, see, we have been hearing so many, in our ancient, mythological epics like Mahabharata and Ramayana, we have seen
Hmm.
Maharathis like Bhishma, Arjuna. They used
Hmm.
to gain some divine weapons. They used to,
Hmm.
do tapasyas,
Hmm.
right? And
Right.
do we have those kind of tapasyas today, and if not, why and how? What kind of tapasyas they used to do? Like we know that Arjuna during the Vanvas, I think he did 14 years of tapasya to get
Hmm.
Pashupashastra, and he got
Right.
many weapons this way by from different vardhans of devtas. Uh,
Hmm.
I think that was also, I think, a kind of spiritual practice or a meditation or something. Uh,
Hmm.
why
Right.
don't
Right.
these things exist now?
Okay. So yeah, definitely most of it is not uh, there in the present times. It's like even in that time, it was like a hidden science. Not everybody knew it. Like Dronacharya, he didn't teach many things to everyone. Arjun was his favorite student, and
Yeah,
he taught a certain things to certain people only. So it was a
yeah,
hidden science even back then. Okay, based on one's own qualification, things were revealed by the guru. Having said that, in the present times, even if such tapasyas exist, and I believe that they do exist, uh, but do we have that endurance within us to practice those tapasyas? We people of modern times, in summers we need AC, right? In winters we need heaters. We are not even able to
hmm,
endure these basic things, and to do these years long tapasyas, austerities, is not easy for us. So this is the one thing, that we are not able to endure that kind of tapasya anymore. Our bodies are not capable of doing such tapasyas. At the same time, where is the purity in us to practice those tapasyas? Even people like Ravan or Hiranyakashipu, who did years of tapasyas, even
yeah,
we call them demons, even they maintained purity for that particular period of time of doing that
yeah.
austerity. But in present times, are we that pure? Do we have that physical and mental purity? We don't have that mental purity, right? Even in the Yoga Sutras, Patanjali Rishi mentions a lot of siddhis like anima, mahima. One can become small, one can become big, and a lot of siddhis he mentions. Okay, uh, and
It's like Hanuman,
one can definitely,
like
yes,
like
like
Hanu.
Hanuman. Yeah, yeah, he could increase and decrease his size. Yes, definitely.
Yeah,
Uh, but people don't don't consider that Patanjali also begins somewhere. He talks about purity. He talks about yam and niyam first. There has to be some rules. We don't want to follow any rules. We just immediately want to get all these powers and strengths. So that won't happen. So endurance and purity, these two things are very important, I think, even in today's times. And having said that, there is a possibility of gaining such powers, and there are people still who have such powers. Yeah.
okay. I have one.
Pranay, I'm not able to hear you. I'm not able to hear you.
There is some interruption. I'm sorry for that.
Yeah,
Can you hear
that's
me?
fine. Yes, I can hear you now. Can you hear me? Am I audible?
Yeah. There was some interruption. Sorry for that. Acha. Another question was that I want to follow up with that. That are those all all those asanas or all those things that people used to do to get those weapons? Is it only our inability to reach there, or do you think even if there exist some people, they can still be there now? Like if there's somebody have that capability, they can
Hmm.
reach that position. They
Yes,
are a yogi
definitely.
still, right?
Definitely. Yeah, yeah, definitely. Uh, there are people who have gained such siddhis, um, and it's definitely possible. Um, um, like clairvoyance. They can read your mind. Lot of these stuffs even are possible even in this age and times. Yes, one can reach that state definitely.
Okay. Uh, I wanna. There's one more question somebody's asking. How do you keep yourself calm in provoking or depressing and heartbreaking situation? How do you relate human emotions with yoga, or do you even come in? Do that? Do they even come in sync?
Can you repeat the question? The last part,
Yeah,
especially.
yeah. Okay, I'm repeating it again totally. Okay.
Okay.
How do you
Yeah. Yeah.
keep yourself calm in provoking or depressing and heartbreaking situation? How do you
Hmm.
relate human emotions with yoga, or do they even
Hmm.
come in sync?
Okay. The thing is that the practice of yoga is like eating food or working out. Okay. Uh, the whole like today, I just like we talked that today, yoga is said that it's all about the physical health. It can keep your physical body healthy, which is definitely true. But thing that people don't know that yoga is more for our minds. Okay. Patanjali defines yoga as that. He says yoga chitta vritti nirodha. Yoga is all about um, um, controlling or clearing the mind. Okay. So by the practice of yoga itself, by the regular practice of yoga itself, all the disturbances, now whatever uh, name we give to this mental disturbances, like heartbreaks or depression, anxiety, stress, all these things can be sorted out just by a regular daily practice of yoga. And initially we may not see those effects initially, but like I said, that like if we begin working out, eventually one can see the difference in their lives. One can feel they are getting calmer and they are able to better respond to situations than just react to it. Yes.
Okay. Uh, Another question. What do you practice when you feel emotionally unstable with particular asana? Is if no, sorry. What do you practice when you feel emotionally unstable? Which particular asana is your favorite?
Okay. Okay. uh, Me in particular, I see yoga not in isolation, but in a holistic way. For me, yoga is not just asanas. It includes the breathing practices. It includes the mantra meditation. It includes the philosophy. Okay, so there is not uh, one medicine for everything. Like in different situations, I may use different approaches to calm myself down, right? So sometimes I may use a mantra for to calming myself. Sometimes I may use breathing to calm myself down in certain situations. So yeah, there is not one particular exercise that I do. uh, yes.
I have a question. Like, how does some people say while you're meditating, focus on your breathing. Like something I've heard. Like,
Hmm.
what
Yeah.
is it like? How does that affect? What do you think about? Our mind is always thinking about something, right? How do you
Hmm.
focus on even on breathing? After 2 3 again, you start thinking about something else. How you
Hmm.
just keep yourself still?
Yeah. So any type of meditation, even this is like meditating on your breath, right? Any type of meditation, it's like strengthening your mental muscles. Okay, the goal is not to be completely thoughtless. Okay, at least not in the initial stages, to become completely thoughtless. That is not the goal. The goal is to strengthen our mental muscles. Okay. It was like, there's like a story. Uh, Once there was a man, and he hears a voice of God, and God says, there is a mountain near you, near your house. You should go and push the mountain. Have you heard about this story?
I think I have heard about something like that. Maybe I was a kid then
Yeah.
when I heard.
Okay. So the voice tells him that you should go and push the mountain every day. So the man religiously goes there, and he tries to push the mountain from morning till evening. And for days and days he keeps doing it. And after some months he gets irritated, and he screams at God that, God, you told me to push this mountain, but I'm not able to push the mountain. Why did you give this task to me? And then God replies that the task was not to push the mountain. There was no intent for you to move the mountain, but by every day trying to push the mountain, you have grown your muscles, you have become stronger now. That was the whole goal. Okay, so even in meditation, any kind of meditation, in this context you're talking about meditating on your breath or observing your breath. It's not about becoming thoughtless. It's not even possible in our stage. But when we are again and again trying to, like, we are trying to focus on the breath, but again and again our mind takes us somewhere else. We again bring it back and try to focus on the breath. Again it goes away somewhere. Again we try to bring it back and focus. Okay, so most of the time the mind is dictating us, but while we are meditating, we are trying to control it. Even for that few seconds that we are able to control, we are strengthening our mental muscles. Okay, so eventually we will get that strength to even do that.
Okay. What do you think that what changes does a person notice in himself when he's
Hmm.
practicing yoga for a considerable amount of time? What kind of changes does he notice at first? We all
Yeah.
do something. We all do something repeatedly when we start seeing result. So, a person who is practicing yoga,
Yeah.
what's the first thing that you see?
The immediate effect of yoga, practicing yoga, will be that the person will start feeling more calmer and relaxed. Relaxation, mental relaxation, calmness, it will be the first effect that one will be able to see. Initially, uh, the time frame of that calmness would be limited to some minutes a uh, or an hour after you have practiced yoga. But gradually, this calmness, the time of the calmness will keep on increasing. It will go on for hours, and then at later stage it will be for days. Okay, so this calmness or relaxation will be the first effect of practicing yoga. The second thing that one will notice is that one will gain health, physical health. Okay, health will be the second benefit. The nadis get purified, the subtle channels in our body through which pran flows, those get purified, and the first thing that one gets is that one will get physical health. And after one gets physical health, when the nadis are completely purified, one can have higher experiences, spiritual experiences. um, that is the later stage of yoga practice. You're not audible, Pranay. You're not audible. Your mic is off.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It's fine.
Uh,
That's fine.
I was reading about while I was, preparing some questions. I just came through this karma yoga term. What is karma
Hmm.
yoga? I just wanted to ask that. Can you tell me?
Okay. Yeah. Uh, so mm, I'll first give a background to this, and then I'll explain to you that the human form of life is a very rare thing to achieve. Okay, we are completely different from the animals. Not completely different. I think in the Mahabharata it is said that um, Ahar, Nidra, Bhay, Maithunam cha Samanya Etat Pashubhir Naranam. Eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. These four are common between man and animal, humans and animals. Okay, these are the basic and the most important things that is common between animals and man. Okay, so what makes a man human being different is that dharmo vishesho, dharmo hi tesham adhiko vishesho dharmi vihina pashu bhi samana. The higher type of intelligence, like we can question ourselves, what am I doing here, why am I suffering? If an animal is suffering, it cannot question itself that why am I suffering, but a human being can question, why am I suffering, why am I here, who am I, right? Why this thing happened to me, what is the goal of life? The Vedas call it athato brahma jigyasa, that you have got this human form of life, inquire about the nature of yourself, the true nature of yourself. Who are you, right? So the human form of life is like an escape, is the only door through which we can escape from this repeated cycle of birth and death. The yoga philosophy believes in reincarnation, that we are again and again reincarnating, we are coming in this world, and most of the times we are suffering. Like Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, dukkhalayam ashashvatam. This world is a dukkhalaya, it is full of misery. So why are we in this material world? Why are we in this world which is full of misery? And we have to get out of this world. So the human form of life is the only door through which we can get out of this world. So the Vedas, the yogic texts, they are like the manuals that are helping us to show the path through which you can get out of this world. Okay, so how can we get out of this world? By first knowing, by first realizing that I am not this body made of matter, of Panch Mahabhut, right? I am the spirit soul which is eternal, which cannot be killed, which cannot be destroyed. I am that eternal soul. So first we have to realize this. Okay, and this realization is called yoga, or connecting to oneself or the supreme. So when, by practicing one's own duty without expecting any results, Krishna calls this as Nishkam Karma Yoga. Okay, by doing our actions in this world without expecting anything in return, it is called Nishkam Karma Yoga. So this is called Karma Yoga. By this practice, can one also realize one's true self. It is not necessary that one can realize the self only through the Ashtang Yoga that Patanjali gave. No, even by practicing, doing your duty selflessly, doing your duties in this world selflessly, one can reach to this point of realizing one's own self, and that is called Karma Yoga.
Okay,
Hmm.
got it. Okay, just like karma yoga, are there more types of yoga or spiritual paths in Hinduism?
Yes, there are many, and basically, I'll just talk about those that are mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita by Krishna. Okay, so carrying forward to what I just explained about realizing one's own self being called as yoga. Okay, so when you realize the self through selfless actions, it is called karma yoga. When you realize the self through knowledge,
Hmm.
through the knowledge of matter and spirit, it is called gyan yoga. It is also called as sankhya yoga. Okay,
So,
when you realize the self through the process of meditation or dhyan, it is called as dhyan yoga or ashtanga yoga. It's the same thing. And when you realize the self by devotion to the supreme, it is called as bhakti yoga. So these are the four yogas that are mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita. These are the four paths.
okay, okay, got it. Uh, it's been a very informative session. I just want you to give any closing statement. What are the things you want our viewers to practice or to do after this? Any lesson you want to leave for our viewers?
Yes, definitely. Because our topic was yoga, the key to happiness, and we began from there. I would like to reiterate that point that um, we are trying to achieve happiness outside of us, and we are trying to achieve various things. We are trying to have a good career. We are trying to earn money. We are trying to have a partner. We are trying to build assets, and we think that all these things will make us happy, but we forget a very important thing, we ignore a very important thing, that unless we don't do anything about our mind, we don't work on our mind, this happiness that we are looking for will be out of our reach. Okay, so if we want happiness, if we want to be happy, we need to do something about this mind. And so it's like it is our own self interest, it is in our own self interest that we work on our mind. And to work on our minds, I think yoga is the best process. One should begin with whatever practice one is comfortable with. And by regular practicing, if we are not doing it regularly, then there won't be any effect, it will be a waste of time and energy. So just by a little bit of regular yoga practice, the mind will come within our control, and that happiness that we all are seeking for will be within our reach. So that's what I would like to end with.
Okay, actually, I skipped one questions from the comment section. I There is a question, Prabhuji, can you suggest some institution which are best to learn yoga and get certified?
um, it depends on where are you located, and if you are ready to go anywhere in India to learn. But if in Mumbai, I'll tell there is one yoga institute. There is it is very reputed. In Pune, there is in Lonavala, sorry, there is Kaivalya Dham. That is a very also very nice institute to learn from. Then there is I think S. Vyasa Swami Vivekanand Institute. That is also I think in Karnataka, Bangalore. Yeah,
Bangalore.
that is also a very nice institute to learn from. And I think in Rishikesh there is Shivananda Ashram, so one can even go and learn from that. So yeah, these are the places I think that are very good to learn from.
Okay. It was glad to have you here. I think our audience and me personally, I think I have learned a lot from you today. It was, I've learned, I think I can't express just what I have learned, but I hope we have more sessions with you. I think our audience will also love that. So, guys, check out Yoga Talks, his Insta page, where he's constantly posting about yoga and its benefits and a lot of things related to that. Guys, check that out, and also check Utsav app. Download it. We are constantly trying to join more communities together and get more people connect to practices like that. Uh, so I think it's it for today. We hope to see you more. Thank you.
Thank, thank you so much. Thank you so much for
Bye.
inviting me.
Yeah.